There's no denying it. Call of Duty Warzone has been a big deal since it launched back in March of 2020. Over the last year and a half, we've watched Warzone dominate the Battle Royale genre and stand up to others like Fortnite and Apex Legends. But it was far from a smooth ride, with issues surrounding file sizes, gun meta changes, and hundreds of thousands of hacker accounts. Warzone has somehow pulled through. But how long can it stay on top? Or is it still even on top? This is the state of Warzone. If you like Call of Duty videos like this, remember to like this video and subscribe to GameSpot. In early 2020, Warzone launched as an extension to Modern Warfare from 2019. Using the same game engine, weapons, and existing maps, Warzone continued the story that was set in the campaign and Spec Ops mode.
Bravo 6. Going down.
At launch, the Battle Royale was a runaway success. Unlike Blackout, Call of Duty's first attempt at a Battle Royale, Warzone was free to play at launch across all platforms and even supported crossplay. Returning Modern Warfare fans and what felt like everyone else jumped into Verdansk and got some. Oh my god.
Good job, bro.
The hype was undeniable. Early on, as players began to learn the landscape of Verdansk, other players had a timely advantage. That's because Infinity Ward cleverly built upon its existing Spec Ops map and story and used it all as a foundation for Warzone. That meant players already knew many of the locations, and while Verdansk wasn't the most visually stunning Battle Royale map, it was a massive area to familiarize players with at launch. A lot even said it was too big, with too many grassy plains and not enough cover. In the beginning, while Warzone was solely tied to Modern Warfare, we saw the launch of new weapons like the Finn LMG, the Fennec, and more. And events like the Haunting of Verdansk also began to roll out, complete with spooky operator bundles and an excellent zombie mode that didn't take itself too seriously. This also happened to be around the time the world began closing down for the 2020 global pandemic. So while shelter in place began to roll out, Warzone gave millions of people something to do. Months after launch, Warzone seemed to be firing on all fours, gaining attention from everyone, COD fans, and even lapsed Battlefield players. And with the seasonal outline for Modern Warfare already in place, more weapons like the Grau 5.56 and the Bruin continue to trickle in. It was here where we got our first taste of how just one gun can shift an entire meta, a trend that continues to this very day. Whether it be a game-breaking glitch like the AS Valve shooting through all cover, or weapons like the Kar 98 that just couldn't be beat at long ranges, balancing this increasing number of weapons almost seemed impossible. For better or worse, nearly 30 more weapons were added in all at once, thanks to the integration with Black Ops Cold War at the end of Season 6. Since then, the number has continued to grow with each season, bringing in all sorts of things like melee weapons, nail guns, the Tech 9, and more. Unfortunately, while all of this was going on, seasonal updates and events brought the file size of the game to one of the largest to date. If you wanted the full experience of Modern Warfare, Black Ops Cold War, and Warzone, a base PS4 or Xbox One wouldn't cut it. And that announcement came directly from Activision. After all this time, it's been really easy to point out Warzone's faults because several of them were large scale and directly affected how people played the game. At the same time, some issues, while not necessarily game-breaking, simply felt like a massive lack of communication to players. Like the Soap Operator bundle quietly added in well after Modern Warfare support, as well as other leftover Modern Warfare weapons. But despite these setbacks, Warzone has had some fun highlights too. One example being in-game events like the Cold War announcement, which had everyone fleeing to the stadium to check out the new trailer and unlock the Bay of Pigs SKS blueprint. Others like the End of Verdansk brought everyone together to destroy an armored train. Learning from other Battle Royale games where players couldn't experience events after being killed, Warzone smartly allowed players to work together to complete the mission. Other events like the stadium opening up for the first time or the zombies infestation were less fleshed out and chaotic in my opinion, but they usually led to greater story elements like Verdansk getting nuked. Other things like the bunkers and train stations had pretty mixed results, and to me felt like a poor attempt to keep players engaged during a lull in the greater story. Especially when it came to gathering intel, a chore that had players grinding for story bits for little to no reward. In large part, seasonal events were handled with more care and attention in other titles like Fortnite and Apex Legends, especially when it came to introducing new characters and maps. These battle royales also competed with Warzone in player counts and massive mainstream success, But if you needed your realistic shooter fix, Warzone was simply in a league of its own. After this year and a half, Warzone's future isn't exactly clear, especially because we're on the verge of some big changes. In mid-October, Warzone introduced two weapons from Vanguard, the STG-44 and the M1 Garand. Doing this sends some mixed signals. Will we be seeing Vanguard's full arsenal introduced into Warzone the same way as Cold War's? If so, this could mean weeks of meta changes and a total gun count of over 130. These Vanguard weapons also offered up to 10 attachments, doubling that of the current guns. While this is all possible to maintain, it could be really messy. On a larger scale, how long will Activision and Raven choose to support Warzone before moving on to something like Warzone 2? Personally, I think the upcoming Pacific map would be a great place to start over. It would be a clean start for Warzone instead of another integration. But even when I think of these two options, I'm reminded that this will continue to put a strain on our hard drives no matter what. If a new Warzone is launched, players will struggle to enjoy both on one console, forcing them to pick sides unless more hard drive space can be added. A conversation we're all tired of having.
When you say that, it makes me tired.
With the launch of Warzone, Infinity Ward and Raven had quite the shoes to fill. It found itself with loads of success, with a massive player base reaching casuals, returning Call of Duty fans, strayed Battlefield fans, and people who just didn't care for the look and feel of Fortnite. In any event, 2022 is shaping up to be a big year in gaming, with some serious competitors like Halo and Battlefield, well maybe.
What is that?
So there's a chance that Warzone may eventually fizzle out of popularity. So while the player base may still be high, it might not be the darling FPS it once was. Lastly, Ricochet, the kernel anti-cheat system that Call of Duty plans to implement with the release of Vanguard. Will it work? If so, this could mean a brighter future for Warzone, as hacker accounts have gone from bad to worse in the last year. While lots of people like myself are hopeful and supportive of this move, we've seen some startling news that the program has been leaked and is being reverse engineered by hackers. In reality, reports indicate that Activision actually sent the anti-cheat program to third parties to test, and in the process it was considered leaked as more testers gained access. Activision definitely has their walls up at this point, but only time will tell if this attempt to crush cheaters on PC will work. Warzone has been a whirlwind of successes and missteps. Over the last year and a half, we've seen hundreds of guns, dozens of game modes, and millions of players come and go. While we don't exactly know what the future holds, Warzone has definitely made its mark in the gaming space. While it could always use more improvement, I think it's safe to say that Warzone will be with us for a while. Don't forget to like this video if you enjoyed, and thanks for watching.